In this example, we're going to look at how to trend data that we are collecting in LabVIEW. So in this example, we have one temperature indicator in the shape of a thermometer, scale 0 to 500, and we also have a numeric indicator here. So we're looking at the data being displayed as a numeric type, but we may want to look at this sort of as trending over a period of time as far as what we could look at as far as a waveform graph or a chart. So I'm going to start by looking at my controls palette. I'm going to highlight the modern, and as I go through, I see an icon that's called graph. So we're going to choose an object that is part of this graph selection. I'm going to mouse click it, and I see that I have multiple types that I can choose from. The one we want to use is the waveform chart. So I'm going to select the waveform chart, and I'm going to place it on my front panel. At this point, I can resize it if I want to. I can do a lot of different things in the properties, change the colors or whatever I have. So initially, as soon as I place the object, I want to change the name from waveform chart. I want it to mean something as far as my programming. So I'm going to call this temperature trend. And instead of saying plot 0, maybe I want it to say degrees F. And this, instead of saying amplitude, I may want it to say temperature as well. Let me get in here and change that. Now I also want to scale it. You notice by default it gave me a scaling of a -10 to a 10. I want this scale to be the same as my temperature scale over here is 0 to 500. So to change that, I'm going to double click my upper range value, make that a 500. My lower range value, I'll make a 0. And before I do anything else, one thing I want to do is I want to right click on my amplitude scale. And if you're going to notice, I have a check mark automatically that says auto scale Y. Always remove that, because if you don't, when your program operates, LabVIEW will auto scale this and it won't always stay, in this case, 0 to 500. It'll change based on whatever the input is. All right, so let's take a look at our object that was created on the block diagram. I want to make sure that I wire this in. I want it to receive the same data that my temperature indicator and my numeric indicator get. So I'm going to hover over, and in the wiring mode, I'm going to wire that into my waveform chart. Okay, so now I'm going to run this for a few seconds. We're going to see now that as my program executes, the temperature is changing. It's being captured on my thermometer, on my numeric indicator, and it's also trending on my waveform chart.